Sideways market overall in crypto after last week's pump, but is it sustainable? Hello, I'm Crypto Casey, and welcome to another episode of Last Week Crypto. Every Sunday, we review the performance of the largest cryptocurrencies, top gainers, as well as the latest global news stories affecting the crypto markets this past week. This week, we will discuss more government attacks on privacy technology, the likelihood of a transformation into a bankless society, and our crowd favorite, as always, the turbulent US economy and failing dollar. To check out the links to all of the articles we discuss, go to cryptocasey.com/lastweekcrypto. This week's episode is brought to you by Crypto.com, an exchange with over 55 different cryptocurrencies. On Crypto.com's mobile app, you can buy crypto with bank transfers, credit, debit cards, or crypto at true cost with no markups. Crypto.com also has a desktop exchange that is solely for crypto-to-crypto trading, which isn't available in the US quite yet. If you use the link below to sign up for Crypto.com, you'll receive $50 worth of cryptocurrency for free when you use the referral code CryptoCasey, all while supporting the channel. It's so important to have relationships with multiple exchanges with this incoming bull market. Many times, exchanges have to hold funds, freeze transactions, and lock accounts when they are overloaded with increased demand. So check out my list of recommended exchanges below to sign up so you have multiple options to trade when the crypto market really starts to take off. Also, every Wednesday, I conduct a weekly AMA or Ask Me Anything at Instagram.com/CryptoCasey. Use the link to my Instagram account listed in the description area to follow me and ask me anything you want every Wednesday. Please note that I only have one official Instagram account, which is Instagram.com/CRYPTOCASEY. I never engage in direct messages on Instagram. I will never ask you to install mining software on your computer. I will never ask you to send me money or crypto in exchange for trading or investing services. So please be mindful of the rampant amount of social media accounts being made to impersonate people in the crypto space. Awesome. Let's check out Last Week Crypto. Looking at the top cryptocurrencies by market cap over the past week, Bitcoin up 2.5%, ETH up 0.5%, XRP down 4.7%, and Bitcoin Cash up 4.7%. Looking at the top gainers this week, Ampleforth up 45.2%, but not really. This crypto is not a true gainer in terms of price since the supply is adjusted with a daily rebase. So for this project, you need to watch the growth of the total market cap to gauge value increase or decrease. Next up, Waves up 26.2%, Ren up 18.5%, and Stellar up 9%. All in all, we've had pretty sideways market movements in the crypto space. Jumping into some news, I would liken to the ridiculousness of the IRS forking over not nearly enough money to some tech firms in hopes of cracking Monero. The United States Department of Justice enters the ring in an attempt to combat cryptographically secured data, issuing an international statement about end-to-end encryption and public safety, stating, "Encryption is an existential anchor of trust in the digital world, and we do not support counterproductive and dangerous approaches that would materially weaken or limit security systems. We urge industry to address our serious concerns where encryption is applied in a way that wholly precludes any legal access to content. Embed the safety of the public in system designs, enable law enforcement access to content in readable and usable format, engage in consultation with governments and other stakeholders to facilitate legal access." So basically, they are seeking to put an end to end-to-end encryption and essentially our constitutional right to privacy at large. Pretty disturbing, yet hardly surprising. And the United States isn't the only one behind the push. US joins 6 countries in new call for backdoor encryption access. On Monday, the US Department of Justice issued a statement calling for an industry-wide effort to enable law enforcement agencies to access encrypted data once a warrant has been obtained. The US was joined in the effort by officials representing the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, India, and Japan. Though concerning in the short term because governments could easily mandate that corporations with centralized encrypted messaging platforms like WhatsApp, iMessenger, or Telegram implement a backdoor to the data or risk being banned, in the long term, with the internet's exponentially increasing evolution to Web 3.0 and its decentralized blockchain protocol, there's not a dang thing anybody's going to be able to do to prevent end-to-end encryption. And the implications of Web 3.0 and what it will do to the core framework of the internet, the way humans interact with each other, and the way the world works at large doesn't stop at end-to-end encryption. Check out this tweet. It is the beginning of the end for the banks. Adapt or perish. Time to pivot towards the digital asset ecosystem. Bitcoin is the pristine collateral at its center. Whole new world now growing up alongside the legacy system. It's never too late to do the right thing. And below we see a graph titled Chipping Away, top 500 global banks, payment and fintech firms, share of market capitalization by percentage. And we see the percentage of the fintech entering an exponential growth curve. End of banks? Casey, that seems a little drastic, don't you think? Not particularly. But you know what I do find, not drastic because that's not the right word, but what I find bearish about the survival outlook of traditional banks? Negative interest rates. When there is uncertainty in the economy and it starts failing, naturally, logically, people tend to be more frugal with their money. To combat this, banks impose negative interest rates. What that means for us is rather than earning interest on your money sitting in your bank account, you will be charged a storage fee by the bank to keep your money in your account. This is done to incentivize you to spend your money in the midst of a financial global meltdown instead of fearfully hoarding it like you probably are doing right now, unless you're in Bitcoin. And if you're not, you should seriously give it some due consideration. So, the Bank of England asks banks about readiness for negative rates. Their response? UK banks not ready for negative interest rates, says NatWest chairman. Banks are already under pressure to help households and businesses struggling with the pandemic. They also could face a reduction in access to markets in the European Union when Britain's post-Brexit transition period expires. In addition, as we discussed a few episodes back, in the midst of legal action by the EU against the UK amid Brexit complications, London faces losing its position as a main gateway to Europe for US banks. So, I'm not entirely bullish on the state of British banking affairs, but you don't have to take it from a yank like me. Your mate Godfrey Bloom prophesied this situation several years prior. Check out this clip from 2013.
For the EFT, Mr. Bloom has 2 minutes.
Commissioner, Mr. President, I rise again, I'm afraid, to make the same old hoary speech that I've been making here for several years. And that is, it is my opinion that you do not really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal and it's been going on for too long.
Quite a hoary speech indeed. In fact, it's probably my all-time favorite hoary speech at the moment. So I highly suggest listening to the thing in its entirety. And big institutional investors agree. Bankless society inevitable due to crypto, says Morgan Creek CEO. People will be able to bank themselves with crypto. All of these massive institutional investors see the writing on the wall. They are buying crypto in droves, and they are publicly back-scratching each other about it. JPMorgan calls Square's $50 million Bitcoin investment strong vote of confidence for cryptocurrency. These investment firms are buying so much flip in Bitcoin that of the 84,000 Bitcoin that were mined in Q3, just Cash App, Square, and MicroStrategy account for 169% of that. Grayscale accounts for another 70%. Not necessarily all new purchases. Given lack of price movement, it feels like there is a major seller in the market. And when the seller runs out of coins, moon. And let us not forget about the Robin to the Batman Bitcoin. Ethereum is rocking and rolling too, as the Commodity Futures Trading Commission Chairman Heath Tarbert talks Ethereum, DeFi, and the next BitMEX, stating,
let me just basically say how impressed I am with Ethereum, full stop, period. And that when I think about this as a regulator, I think of it almost analogized to email versus the internet. If Bitcoin is email, a one-trick pony, so to speak, but obviously revolutionary, Ethereum goes far beyond that. It's more like the internet.
Full stop, period, eh? How about full stop, comma? While everybody has been focused on our Bitcoin accumulation, the Grayscale Ethereum Trust now holds over 2% of all ETH in circulation. And with Ethereum's 2.0 impending Phase 0 mainnet launch any day now, things are looking quite bullish for ETH. let's touch on a little bearish news in crypto that I can parlay into my very own same old hoary speech. OKEx, a big crypto exchange, suspends withdrawals, says key holder not available due to cooperation with investigation. Available data suggests that around 1.1%, 200,000, of circulating Bitcoin supply locked as OKEx suspends withdrawals. This raises a question on how secured your coin is on exchanges. Not your keys, not your coin. Nice. See, I didn't even have to give my entire hoary speech. Dima from BC Vault gave some of it for me. Look, once you have your Bitcoin, get it off the exchange and into a cold storage hardware wallet device pronto. The best time to get a cold storage hardware wallet was yesterday, but the next best time is today. So scroll down to the description area below to access the correct and official sites of my recommended hardware wallets. BC Vault is my personal favorite. Another option is the Ledger Nano Backup Pack. And if you're in the US and you don't have any crypto on an exchange or in a wallet or any at all, what are you holding all this worthless US fiat for? The banks may start charging you to store it in your own bank account. Are you just gonna hide it under your mattress while this milestone passes us by? Is Jeff Bezos a trillionaire because he's earning money faster than the rest of us? Or is Jeff Bezos a trillionaire because the dollar is losing value? Oh, no, Casey. I don't hold worthless fiat currency in my bank or hide it under my mattress. I'm in stonks, baby. All they do is go up, especially as Trump says, I'm ready to sign a big, beautiful stimulus. But many Americans are not banking on it. Without knowing when the next round of stimulus and relief measures will arrive, many people continued to keep their expenses low. With threats of negative interest rates floating around, with my own personal predictions of stimulus happening before the election turning out to be completely wrong, and in the midst of a wide-ranging flurry of incongruent Trump tweets, y'all already know, at this point, a proper last week crypto episode cannot see the light of day without a featured tweet from our savage Sven Henrik Northman trader. The greatest leading sell indicator remains undefeated. Here's a downward trending chart correlated with 3 Trump tweets that all hit the web Monday, October 12th, stating, stock market up another 300 points, greatest leading indicator of them all. Don't ruin it with Sleepy Joe. Followed by, stock market up big. Do I get no credit for this? Never even mentioned by the fake news. A new record for stocks and jobs growth. Remember, it's the economy, stupid. Vote. In closing, stock market up big. While the US celebrates how the Dow closes 100 points higher, snaps 3-day losing streak on strong retail sales data, across the pond, China hands out $1.5 million of its digital currency in one of the country's biggest public tests. Last week, the government in Shenzhen carried out a lottery to give away a total of 10 million yuan, about $1.5 million, worth of the digital currency. The digital yuan is not a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. Instead, it is issued and controlled by the People's Bank of China, the country's central bank. So not a digital currency predicated on true blockchain technology principles, but it's worth noting that China is the leading country in technological innovation and adoption, which will prove to be quite interesting in the development of the new global landscape. Awesome. Well, that was Last Week in Crypto with me, Crypto Casey. If you enjoyed the episode, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more crypto content. To check out the links to all of the articles we discussed, go to cryptocasey.com/lastweekcrypto. So what do you think about negative interest rates? Is this sideways crypto market going to break up or down? What do you think about the concept of a bankless society? Let me know in the comments below. Be safe out there.